when Geraldo Rivera was over at his trailer, banging on his trailer, trying to confront him about all the DCF allegations from the past. And, you know, obviously with my father with the DCF, happened to be the investigator from the past. And he, you know, after Geraldo was beating on his door and he argued with him, he had ran to my house over here, right through the, because where his tent was, I could see it from my house. I mean, it was right on the other road. And he ran over here with somebody else and tried to get my father to go out there and explain to Geraldo Rivera, who was pretty much right out there on the road too, about the allegations, to let him know that they were, you know, unfounded allegations and there was no substance to them and all that, and that they were accused and it was all unfounded stuff. And my father was, you know, deeply telling this guy, like, I'm sorry for what happened to you, but I can't help you. He says, there's proper channels to go to. He's like, you're not even supposed to be at my house. He's like, you know, I wish I could help you. I feel bad for you. And he was just like, there's nothing I can do. You have to go to DCF, and they have spokespeople, and they have people that take care of this stuff. He's like, I'm an investigator, and right now you're putting me in jeopardy. And he basically asked him to leave. While he was saying all that, Ronald was sitting at my table, at the living room table, and my mother, Stephanie, my children, I mean, everybody was right there when it happened, because it was like a spur of the moment. He came walking in. So in the process, honey, give me a second. In the process of that, while he was sitting there asking my father that and got denied, you could see that he was agitated.
Your mother asked him something.
Yeah, my mother asked him if you know, if his girlfriend had did it, you know, and then she'd asked him if you know, any of your friends, don't you know where your daughter is? And he just, I mean, turned like white as a ghost. Didn't even, you know, accommodate her with any kind of answer or anything like that. He just, like, basically rolled his eyes and put his head down, and I was like, Mama, I can't believe you asked the guy that. You know, but when he was at the table, I looked him dead in the eyes, I mean, straight in his eyes, and I was like, buddy, I said, what the hell was the deal with almost running us down at the bus stop? And he said, my daughter was gone. And I said, F you, buddy. Just like that. I said, backtrack. I said, your daughter was gone Monday night. I said, this is Monday morning. You almost nailed me and 6 other kids at that bus stop, clipped another truck, and took off. And he says, yeah, my daughter was gone. And then he said something to the effect of, my daughter spilled something on her shirt or something. He had to change her. I'm like, well, you live the other way. Why did you go straight? Why didn't you just turn around and go back home and get her a shirt? I mean, so, and then right after that...
Did he answer?
Well, that was his answer, was that his daughter had spilled something and he had to get her a shirt.
So he changed the story. He was confused. He thought he thought his daughter had been gone. Yeah. And then suddenly it was she spilled.
Back to the messy shirt or whatever. And basically, he felt really defensive at that point. He stood up and he was looking at me, and I was like, you know, whatever, you know, and he goes and he sits on the corner of the arm of my couch, and that's actually when my mother had said that to him, when he was sitting there. And, you know, he looks to my father saying, do you think you could help me? Is there any way? And my father wrote down some numbers to, you know, his supervisor and that, and gave him the numbers and said, this is who you got to call. This is who you got to talk to. He says, you by no means could come to my house and have me say anything for you. Those files are you know, DCF files. He can't go and talk about it, open nothing like that. Can't do it. So he seemed really disturbed about that. And then, you know, basically when he was walking out, you know, I walked him out, and there was a truck in the driveway that I didn't even notice, or at the door, I'm sorry. At the door he was telling me, you know, basically, you know, keep an eye on my kids, to make sure to watch my kids. And I'm saying to myself, whatever, I'm thinking as, you know, a father to a father, watch the kids. And then, you know, I walk him to this truck that was sitting there. It was like a Nissan Titan truck. And he sits there in the seat, and you could tell he's pissed, because he's just like frustrated. He puts his head down, he's got his hat lowered down, he lifts his head up and his eyes are closed, and he says, you need to watch your children. He told me, you got to watch your children.